the best of the available alternatives that I can come up with, and maybe somebody else can come up with a better approach or better outcome, is that we achieve democratization of AI technology, meaning that no one company or small set of individuals has control over advanced AI technology. I think that's very dangerous. It could also get stolen by somebody bad, like some evil dictator of a country could send their intelligence agency to go steal it and gain control. It just becomes a very unstable situation, I think, if you've got any incredibly powerful AI. You just don't know who's going to control that. So it's not as though I think that the risk is that the AI would develop a will of its own right off the bat. I think it's more that's the concern is that someone may use it in a way that is bad.
In this video, why we need Elon Musk's not-so-secret new AI company. Short-sighted Tesla stock investors are probably going to get mad, and those whose cognitive faculties are usually in control rather than their emotions are probably going to lose a little bit of sleep. I wish I didn't need to make this video, but I do. It seems many are completely oblivious to what may in fact be the great filter. While I remain an optimist, we are fast approaching what may be the end of humanity. I'm not trying to be dramatic, and I hope I'm wrong, but hope is not a strategy. I believe there are 4 distinct camps of people when it comes to artificial superintelligence and whether or not it potentially poses an existential threat to humanity. The first, the dangerously stupid morons who are adamant there's no possible chance that AI could go wrong. Like, we'll just turn it off if that happens. And per the descriptor, these people are dangerously stupid morons. There is absolutely a non-zero risk, and to deny this is to prove that one is incapable of thought. The second group of people acknowledge there's some risk but aren't particularly worried. Everything should be fine. Look, we always figure it out. We're humans. We'll be fine. Remember, we thought we'd destroy the world when we developed nuclear weapons, and we haven't done that yet. The third group of people are deeply concerned, although they remain hopeful and optimistic. They're also aware there's a very real risk here. I count myself among this group. And there's a fourth group of people, doomsayers, who are absolutely certain that it's the end of the fucking world and humanity as we know it once artificial superintelligence emerges. If you happen to own Tesla stock, this video is far more relevant than you may think, so stick around. And no matter which of the 4 camps you find yourself in today, it's worth considering the opinions, the perspectives of others in other camps as it relates to artificial intelligence and the potential risks it may or may not pose to humanity. P.S. Just in case this is the end of humanity as we know it, better sign up to Patreon now and watch those 300 plus exclusive videos while you still can. Use the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment to join. So I'd like to start with a meme. This from Elon Musk. I'm sure it will be fine. Now, for those of you who are audio only, here's the meme. Me realizing AI, the most powerful tool that mankind has ever created, is now in the hands of a ruthless corporate monopoly. A deeply disturbed Elmo. This meme honestly encapsulates my thoughts in a nutshell. Now, to be fair, years ago, before my brain structure had finished developing, I actually thought that AI, it'll be fine. I was very dismissive of the risks. Don't worry about it, we'll be fine. But as my brain structure continued to develop and got a little bit closer to its final form, I actually used my brain and realized that that was a very ignorant, naive, and in fact, dangerously stupid, very dismissive, arrogant way to think about things. I lose a lot of sleep thinking about where AI might be going. And again, I am an optimist, but I'm an optimist whose brain works. How did we get to this point, and where to from here? You know what? I'll just spoil the end of the movie now. I'm adamant Elon Musk will be launching his own AI company who will be completely open source and not for profit. However, he may need to do this inside Tesla. He can justify that to investors because it's going to accelerate Tesla's FSD progress and the humanoid robot. Alternatively, in the worst case, he might have to sell some more Tesla stock, maybe some SpaceX stock as well, to fund this venture. How did we get to this point? Here's a great thread I found on Twitter, linked in the description. We're going to run through the whole thing. Number 1, Elon Musk tells Sam Altman in 2016, quote, "We must have democratization of AI technology and make it widely available. And that's the reason you, me, and the rest of the team have created OpenAI to help spread out AI technology so it doesn't get concentrated in the hands of a few." Let's watch the clip. I promise I won't interrupt.
The best of the available alternatives that I can come up with, and maybe somebody else can come up with a better approach or better outcome, is that we achieve democratization of AI technology, meaning that no one company or small set of individuals has control over advanced AI technology. I think that's very dangerous. It could also get stolen by somebody bad, like some evil dictator of a country could send their intelligence agency to go steal it and gain control. it just becomes a very unstable situation, I think, if you've got any incredibly powerful AI. You just don't know who's going to control that. So it's not as though I think that the risk is that the AI would develop a will of its own right off the bat. I think it's more that's the concern is that someone may use it in a way that is bad, and even if they weren't going to use it in a way that's bad, that somebody could take it from them and use it in a way that's bad. That I think is quite a big danger. So I think we must have democratization of AI technology and make it widely available. And that's the reason that obviously Yumi and the rest of the team created OpenAI was to help with the help spread out AI technology so it doesn't get concentrated in the hands of a few.
So that was 2016. A lot's happened since then, including OpenAI now having made such a dramatic change in their business model that they should probably rename to Closed AI. Let's read on. 2. Sam Altman says that he started OpenAI with Elon Musk in 2016. Quote, "It's a non-profit and the goal is to build general super AI for the benefit of humanity and try to do that in a way where there is not a single for-profit company with a single AI that controls the world. And hopefully," remember, hope is not a strategy, "doesn't go off the rails." Let's watch the clip.
We started a group called OpenAI. Elon Musk and me and the former CTO of Stripe and a guy from Google Brain. And that group now has about 25 people. It is a nonprofit. The goal is to build general super AI for the benefit of humanity and try to do that in a way where it is not a single for-profit company with a single AI that controls the world and hopefully doesn't go off the rails, but a widely distributed AI where each human has an agent that becomes part of them to some degree. And we sort of try to just distribute this power and make all the humans better. And it's super exciting to work on.
Let's watch the third clip. Again, this from 2016.
It definitely is scary to me to think about the single AI world. So one approach that some people have to AI safety is to say, hey, multiple AI agents will fight with each other and will have a lot of conflict, and that's very dangerous. And that the safe approach is to have a single AI that rules the world as a benevolent dictator and stops all other AI projects and makes this utopia for humans. And there is an argument that you can articulate that is a good path. The thing I have never been able to be comfortable with on that approach is, let's say we are successful in creating this single AI that is 1 billion times smarter than the next most intelligent agent in the universe, the smartest human. And we think that we built in some controls, and we think we built it to like humans. But we somehow put a bug in there, or there was something that we didn't understand, and it decides to go the other direction. And then you have this massively powerful agent that is 1 billion times more intelligent than the next most powerful agent. I don't see how we have any hope of controlling it or getting it to do what we want it. Like, if it goes off, I think things get really unsafe.
Are you listening? This is Sam Altman, co-founder of OpenAI, discussing his concerns about AI gone rogue in 2016.
Also, there will presumably be some group of people in the world that kind of control the AI. And if that group of people decides, I think the quote is absolute power corrupts absolutely. If they decide something the other 7 billion of us don't like, that seems bad. So I'm definitely afraid of a world that has a single concentrated AI. I like better a world with a lot of AIs, and in the same way that there are occasional bad humans, but we as the collective are able to overpower them because we're all of roughly the same skills. I think if we have a lot of AIs and most of them want what we want and want, then they will be able to stop an occasional bad AI. So I think that's why we call OpenAI OpenAI. We want this to be open technology made available to everyone.
Now, clip number 4, also from 2016. This time, Elon Musk sharing more thoughts.
Not all AI futures are benign. Not all.
Okay.
And so if you have something, if we create some digital superintelligence that exceeds us in every way by a lot, it's very important that that be benign. And so actually with a few others, I created OpenAI, which is an AI. It's a nonprofit, actually. There's no. I think the governance structure here is important. So we want to make sure that there was not some fiduciary duty to generate, profit off of the AI technology that's developed.
Are you listening? This is Elon Musk, co-founder of OpenAI, back in 2016, explaining one of the founding principles is that it is to be a not-for-profit company. Makes sense, right? If it's a for-profit company, you probably have some perverse incentives. The idea of OpenAI sounds great. Open source, not-for-profit, fully transparent, no concentration of power, available to everyone. But again, this was 2016. This was also when Elon Musk was still involved with OpenAI. He has long since parted ways with the company.
So we created this 501c3, but I think it's quite different from. I mean, like a lot of sort of 501c3s are, they don't have a high sense of urgency, and like they're not like, they're not really sort of developing technology at a fast pace, but OpenAI is. So OpenAI has a very high sense of urgency, and the talent. I think that the people that have joined are really, really amazing. And the intent with OpenAI is to democratize AI power. There's a quote that I love from Lord Acton. He was the guy that came up with power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, which is that freedom consists of the distribution of power and despotism in its concentration. And so I think it's important, if we have this incredible power of AI, that it not be concentrated in the hands of a few and potentially lead to a world that we don't want.
And what world is that? What do you foresee that when you see it?
It's difficult. I mean, it's called the singularity because it's difficult to predict what future that might be. Except I don't know a lot of people who love the idea of living under a despot. I don't think people generally choose to live in a democracy over a dictatorship.
And the despot would be the computer?
Or the people controlling the computer.
So that was 2016, and I have to be honest, at this point in time, I was losing a lot less sleep thinking about the future of AI and the potential existential threat that AI gone rogue may present to humanity. But again, a lot has happened since 2016. Let's fast forward 3 years. And if you're looking on screen now, 3 years after Elon Musk is pointing out the whole concentration of AI power in the hands of, well, guess what? Microsoft is investing $1 billion in OpenAI. Quote, one upside of this Microsoft deal is that it's not just an investment, but also a partnership. In case this needs to be explained. A company founded as a non-profit, a not-for-profit company, whose goal is to be entirely open source to democratize AI, partnering in exchange for $1 billion with a corporate monopoly, Microsoft, seems to be completely counter to OpenAI's founding principles. OpenAI, in 2019, got into bed with Microsoft.
Actually, one upside of this Microsoft deal is that it's not just an investment; it's also a partnership. And we have an arrangement where if we choose to license technology, that they're actually super excited to commercialize it, put it into Microsoft products, and that's one way that we can both continue to fund the research, but also get some of these breakthroughs to actually make it out into the world.
Sure. Let's talk about that Microsoft deal for a second, because you took $1 billion from Microsoft. I think there was some confusion about what that actually meant, the $1 billion. Can you just explain what kind of deal this is? It's not just Azure credits, right?
No, it's cash.
We'll spend a lot on Azure, but it's in cash, yeah.
Right. So what is Microsoft getting for that?
Yeah, so first, again, there's just an investment, so that they now
Sure.
hold some of the instrument. But there's secondly this partnership. So we'll be running all of our things on Azure, and that we're working together to build
Exclusively.
That's right. That's right.
Just wanted to interrupt for a moment. March 24th, Elon Musk tweets this. As part of their investment, Microsoft gained exclusive access to the entire OpenAI codebase. Random Twitter user responds, not everything, and Elon Musk clarifies, ChatGPT is entirely housed within Microsoft Azure. When push comes to shove, they have everything, including the model weights. Now, what was this about concentration of power versus democratization and just, hello? What did Microsoft get in exchange for this $1 billion? The entire code base is hosted on Microsoft service. But don't worry, everything's going to be fine.
And that we're working together to build these massive supercomputers and push forward AI technology. And I think that people in the world who use Azure are going to see that platform continue to just get better and better for AI development.
If Microsoft can collaborate with us and we can build like an amazing supercomputer to train these models on, that clearly benefits us. We really need that, and Microsoft's a great partner to build it. But that should eventually benefit all Azure customers with what they learn from it.
Why lock yourself into Azure, though?
Well, it's
Well, $1 billion is a lot of money. Wait, aren't we not for profit? Oh yeah, that was yesterday. Don't worry about it. Give us the money. Now, I'm sure Sam Altman means well, and I'm sure Sam has a good heart. However, it is possible to mean well, to have a good heart, and to simultaneously be extremely dangerous. I could give countless historical examples, from very recent to much further in the distant past. I'm sure the people persecuting witches, burning them at the stake, thought they were doing the right thing. They didn't know there was no such thing as witches. I could give many other examples. Just because you mean well doesn't mean you're benign.
logistically much easier for us to be on one platform.
Okay.
And we need, we're sort of interested in particular supercomputers that work for our workloads.
Mm-hmm.
And we sort of talk to all of the players, and I think this already is off to a really good start.
And just as some historical context, we've actually used every major cloud plus our own physical hardware over the course of OpenAI. So we've kind of taken a look at everything that's out there.
All right. So you said you talked to all the players. Would you have taken the same deal from Google?
I think that's particularly good about Microsoft is the degree to which they're mission aligned with us.
I just don't have the fucking words, bro. Microsoft, a for-profit anti-competitive monopoly, mission aligned with OpenAI. I tell you what, man, 3 commas of cash can certainly distort one's view on reality. Or maybe I'm just being a little bit unreasonably harsh on Sam here. Mission aligned? Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Come on.
It's hard to find a partner that can, really scale with us on the capital side over the coming years, have the capability to build the computing infrastructure we need, and have a super aligned vision for us on the mission. Mm-hmm. And so we're super happy we found that at Microsoft. Yeah.
And I think it's hard to underemphasize how important that mission alignment is for investors. Like, as we said at the beginning, we have a very atypical structure. We have a very atypical mission. The idea that we might actually need to serve the world over serving investors, it's not something that most investors are willing to sign up for. But I think to Microsoft's credit, I think this is actually super aligned with their corporate mission.
Because the overall mission of Microsoft is also to build AI for the greater good of humanity?
Well, so the overall mission of Microsoft actually is to empower, I might not get this word for word, but to empower every organization and individual to achieve more. And the actual individuals at the top who run the company, I think, are super aligned with this mission of trying to make sure that artificial intelligence and general intelligence happens in a way that benefits everyone.
I think I've heard Satya say the same words.
That's right.
You're pretty close there.
Satya genuinely believes that AI will be like the most important trend for Microsoft to get right in the coming decade. And he really thinks like we do about how to distribute the benefits.
Now, before we watch the next clip, is it just me, or are we seeing a little bit of drift in terms of the mission of OpenAI? Founding principles, avoiding concentration of this super powerful AI in a few hands, distributing AI evenly and widely, lots of competing AIs, not for profit. Just me, or is there some serious mission drift happening in real time? Another clip from the same interview in 2019. Some supposed justification for why OpenAI, founded as a not-for-profit, decided, well, you know what, that $1 billion sounds nice. Maybe we should be a for-profit after all.
It's not just to get there. It's to make sure that it really benefits not just a small set of people, but all of humanity.
Got it. Now, to do that, you first set up a non-profit organization. And then earlier this year, you switched to a for-profit, but with capped returns for the first-round investors. Why did you do that?
Yeah, the way that we started OpenAI was we had this mission. We wanted AGI, artificial general intelligence, to benefit everyone. And so we started in the most obvious way as a nonprofit. But one thing we found as we started to make progress, as we really tried to be at the cutting edge and make AI just continually do impossible things, is that it's actually a very expensive endeavor. that, just like in physics, you got to build these massive particle accelerators. In AI, we have to build these massive supercomputers. And so we needed to be able to raise investment capital, but still stay true to the mission. And so we ended up designing a structure that is neither exactly a for-profit nor a non-profit, but something where we can take investment capital, and if we succeed in creating an unprecedented amount of value, that we only owe a fixed return to those investors and to employees who have equity, and everything else is owned by the non-profit to benefit everyone.
Right.
Now, as far as I'm aware, the investment returns were capped at a mere 100x. Not 100%, 100 times. You know what a 100x return looks like on an investment? You invest $1 million. Maximum return, $100 million. Call me crazy, but I don't think that this capped investment return of 100x is much of a disincentive for people to invest for profit, for commercial gain. I understand the argument. Well, it's capital intensive. We need the money from somewhere, but is it possible that could have capped the returns at 0x? There are many people out there with deep enough pockets who are concerned about AI who could have potentially funded this thing. Elon Musk himself put $100 million into OpenAI upon its founding. The guy also just dropped $44 billion late last year to buy a burning dumpster fire that was destroying the ability of people on Earth to freely share their thoughts, opinions, and ideas. He paid probably $20+ billion more than the thing was worth. That was a $44 billion act of philanthropy. If a company's founded as a not-for-profit, because that's critical to the mission, instead of deciding to become a for-profit company, why not try to figure out how to stay a not-for-profit company? And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to discuss the implications for Tesla investors soon because there's many and they're very important. But just keep this thought in mind. OpenAI took the easy path. Well, we need money from somewhere. Microsoft? How much is it? That's a lot of money, $1 billion. Hey guys, should we let's just change our mind. It's no big deal. It's a lot of money, $1 billion.
And that return is capped at 100x?
So that's true for the first round of investment. That you can almost think of it as we make progress, that future investors are willing to come in for a lower multiple.
Sure. 100x is that's a lot.
Not for a startup investor in sort of a first round.
Okay.
We tried to think about what a good startup investment in sort of our seed round would be, and then when we did it with Microsoft, we did it sort of a lower multiple to model the progress. But our goal is to have returns to investors like a good startup investment, but not sort of unprecedentedly good.
Has moving to this model changed how you do your research, how you do your business?
Not at all. In spirit, we still view ourselves as working for the world, but I think you have to sort of play the field as it lies, and we just need so much capital to do our work.
That was the moment that Sam Altman admitted tacitly that he's a prostitute, and so is OpenAI. We needed capital. Therefore, we decided to suck Microsoft's dick in exchange for $1 billion.
I think we'll need more capital than any nonprofit has ever raised, probably. And so this was sort of a reflection of reality, but we put a year's worth of work into designing a new structure to let us keep our mission and still be able to succeed, get the capital we need to succeed.
So even as a for-profit, you can still, did you say work for the world? Is that how you
describe it? Profit. We're an LLC. We're not a standard thing. We don't have traditional shareholders. We have documents that say in very clear words at the top in a purple box that this is not a standard investment. We can choose to make it worth nothing at any point if we need to. It's super speculative. But I think the technology we're working on has so much promise if it works, if we're successful in our mission, that it's not going to be a particularly difficult thing for us to provide a great return to our investors and also unprecedented value to the world.
I wish I was done, but there's more. Here's Sam Altman 3 years later, 2022.
Help me understand the structure a bit better, Sam, because you definitely surprised a bunch of people when you announced that Microsoft were putting $1 billion into the organization, and in return, I guess they get certain exclusive licensing rights. And so, for example, they are the exclusive licensee of GPT-3. So talk about that structure of how Microsoft presumably have invested not purely for altruistic purposes. They think that they will make money on that $1 billion.
I sure hope they do. I love capitalism. But a thing that I really loved even more about Microsoft as a partner, and I'll talk about the structure and the exclusive license in a minute, is that, we went around to people that might fund us and we said, one of the things here is that we're going to try to make you some money, but AGI going well is more important, and we need you to sign this document that says if things don't go the way we think and we can't make you money, you just cheerfully walk away from it and we do the right thing for humanity. And they were like, yes, we are enthusiastic about that. We get that the mission comes first here. So again, I hope it's phenomenal investment for them, but they were like, they really pleasantly surprised us on the upside of how aligned they were with us about how strange the world may get here and the need for us to have flexibility and put our mission first, even if that means they lose all their money, which I hope they don't, and don't think they will.
So the way it's set up is that if at some point in the coming year or 2 years, Microsoft decide that there's some incredible commercial opportunity that they could realize out of the AI that you've built, and you feel actually no, that's damaging, you can block it, you can veto it.
Correct. So the full, most powerful version of GPT-3 and its successors are available via the API, and we intend for that to continue. What Microsoft has is the ability to sort of put that model directly into their own technology if they want to do that. We don't plan to do that with other people because we can't have all these controls that we talked about earlier, but they're like a close, trusted partner, and they really care about safety too.
So is your brain working and are your ears working? Because if the answer to both of those questions is yes, you might notice a few disturbing things in Sam's comments here. OpenAI, founded on the mission, the principle of distributing, democratizing AI. Next minute, in 2022, Sam Altman is explaining why only Microsoft is allowed to have full access to GPT. Why? Well, because they're a trusted partner. So much for OpenAI. This is so absurd.
But our goal is that anybody who wants to use the API can have the most powerful versions of what we've trained. And the structure of the API lets us continue to increase the safety and fix problems when we find them. But the structure, so we started out as a nonprofit, as you said. We realized pretty quickly that although we went into this thinking that the way to get to AGI would be about smarter and smarter algorithms, that we just needed bigger and bigger computers as well. And that was going to require a scale of capital that no one, well, at least certainly not me, could figure out how to raise as a nonprofit. We also needed to sort of be able to compensate very highly compensated, talented individuals that do this. But a full for-profit company had this runaway incentives problem, among other things. Also just one about sort of fairness in society and wealth concentration that didn't feel right to us either. And so we came up with this kind of hybrid where we have a nonprofit that governs what we do. And it has a subsidiary, LLC, that we structure in a way to make a fixed amount of profit so that all of our investors and employees, hopefully, if things go how we like, if not, no one gets any money. But hopefully they get to make this one-time great return on their investment or the time that they spent at OpenAI and their equity here. And then beyond that, all the value flows back to the nonprofit, and we figure out how to share it as fairly as we can with the world. And I think that this structure and this nonprofit with this very strong charter in place, and everybody who joins signing up for like the mission coming first and the fact that the world may get strange, I think that was at least the best idea we could come up with. And I think it feels so far like the incentive system is working, just as I sort of watch the way that we and our partners make decisions.
But if I read it right, the cap on the gain that investors can make is 100x. I mean, it's a massive cap.
Well, that was for our very first round investors. It's way, way lower. Like as we now take incremental big amounts of capital, it's way, way lower.
So your deal with Microsoft isn't, you can only make the first $100 billion on
No, it's way lower.
And then after that, we're giving it to the world.
No, it's way lower than that.
Have you disclosed what it is?
I don't know if we have, so I won't accidentally do it now.
All right.
So much for OpenAI. Sam unwilling to disclose how much Microsoft could potentially make on this billion-dollar investment. Apparently, it's less than 100x. Sam's not sure if they've revealed it, therefore he's unwilling to reveal it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a problem. Microsoft, whose Azure servers are now hosting the GPT codebase in its entirety exclusively, have special privileges, special access to what was apparently meant to be a distributed, open source, fully transparent form of AI. Microsoft stands to potentially make an extraordinary return on this billion-dollar investment. Who knows how much? Is it 20x, 50x, 80x? I don't know. But this is a non-trivial amount. Oh, we ain't done yet. Number 8, 2023. Let's watch.
So we are a weird-looking company.
In what sense?
So we started as a nonprofit because we had this grand mission, but we did not know how to operationalize it. Right? We know that we want to have AGI benefit all of humanity, but what does that mean? What are you supposed to do? And so we started as a research lab We hired some PhDs, we did some research, we open sourced some code, and our original plan was open source everything, right? You think about how you can have a good impact. Maybe if you just make everything available to anyone that can make any changes they want, then if there's one bad actor, well, you've got 7 billion good actors who can keep them in check. And I think that this plan was a good place to start. But Ilya and I, we were really the ones running the company in the early days. Spent a lot of time really thinking about how do you turn this into the kind of impact that we think is possible, into something that really can make a difference in terms of just how beneficial AGI ends up being. And I think that we found kind of two important pieces. One was simply a question of scale, right? That all the results that we were getting that were impressive and really pushing things forward were requiring bigger and bigger computers. And we kind of realized that, okay, well, you're just going to need to raise billions of dollars to build these supercomputers. And we actually tried really hard to raise that money as a nonprofit. Like I remember sitting in a room during one of these fundraisers and looking in the eyes of a well-known Silicon Valley investor.
Who is that?
Well, I wouldn't share the name, but he was like, $100 million, which is what we're trying to raise. He's like, that's a staggering amount for a nonprofit.
Right.
And we looked at each other. We were like, it is, yeah. And we actually succeeded. We actually raised the money, but we realized that 10x that was not going to happen. I mean, if anyone in this audience knows how to do that as a nonprofit, like, please, we will hire you in an instant. But we realized that if we wanted to actually achieve the mission, that we needed a vehicle that could get us there. And we're not anti-capitalist. Like, that's not why we started nonprofit the way OpenAI is a nonprofit. Actually, capitalism is a very good mechanism within the bounds that it's designed for. But if you do build sort of the most powerful technology ever in a single company, and that thing becomes just like way more valuable or powerful than any company we have today, capitalism not really designed for that. So we ended up sort of designing this custom bespoke structure. It's super weird. Like, we have this limited partnership with all custom docs. If you're a legal nerd, like, it's the kind of thing that is like actually really, really fun to dig into. But the way we design things is that we actually have the nonprofit is the governing body. So there's a board of a nonprofit that kind of owns everything. It owns this limited partnership that actually has profit interest, but they're capped. So there's only a fixed amount that investors and shareholders are able to get.
Maybe an analogy might help here. This is about as absurd as your girlfriend claiming that you and she are in a monogamous relationship because the number of dudes she's allowed to f*** in a single year is capped at 100. That's how much sense this makes. This is some serious mental gymnastics. Well, technically, we're still a not-for-profit. It's just that we have this subsidiary company and this weird structure that it's for profit, but we're not for profit. Doesn't make sense. You're a f***ing for-profit company. Doesn't matter how you structure shit. If you're taking investments from outside, you're working for profit, you're allowing 100x return for your early investors. This is a for-profit company. Doesn't matter how you structure it. Now, look, I understand they're trying their best, right? I get it. I mean, Sam Altman doesn't even own equity in OpenAI. I don't believe these folks are bad actors. They're just dangerously stupid, which can potentially be equivalent in terms of outcomes.
And that there's a very careful balance in a lot of these details in terms of having the board have a majority of people who don't have profit interests, all these things, in order to really try to change the incentive and make it so that that the way that we operate the company comports with the mission. And so I think that this kind of approach of really trying to figure out how do you balance, how do you approach the mission, but how do you make it practical? How do you operationalize it? That is something that has come up again and again in our history.
So what happens when a not-for-profit company decides to become a for-profit company? A company whose mission it was to democratize, to open source, to evenly distribute, to share AI with the world.
Sometimes ChatGPT will give you an answer that's not really an answer. It will give you like a one-paragraph boilerplate saying something like, I'm just an AI, I can't have an opinion on XYZ, or I can't, take positions that would be offensive or insensitive. You've all seen like those boilerplate answers. And it's important to understand the AI is not coming up with that boilerplate. What happens is there's the AI, there's the large language model. And then on top of that has been built this chat interface. And the chat interface is what is communicating with you, and it's kind of checking with the AI to get an answer. Well, that chat interface has been programmed with a trust and safety layer. So in the same way that Twitter had trust and safety officials under Yoel Roth. OpenAI has programmed this trust and safety layer. And that layer effectively intercepts the question that the user provides, and it makes a determination about whether the AI is allowed to give its true answer. By true, I mean the answer that the large language model is spitting out.
Good explanation, Zach.
Yeah, that
really
is what produces the boilerplate. Okay. Now, I think what's really interesting is that humans are programming that trust and safety layer. And in the same way that trust and safety, at Twitter under the previous management was highly biased in one direction, as the Twitter files, I think, have abundantly shown, I think there is now mounting evidence that this safety layer programmed by OpenAI is very biased in a certain direction. There's a very interesting blog post called ChatGPT is a Democrat, basically laying this out. There are many examples. Jason, you gave a good one. The AI will give you a nice poem about Joe Biden. It will not give you a nice poem about Donald Trump. It will give you the boilerplate about how it can't take controversial or offensive stances on things. So somebody is programming that, and that programming represents their biases. And if you thought trust and safety was bad under Vijay Agadi or Yoel Roth, just wait until the AI does it, because I don't think you're going to like it very much.
And you know what I don't like very much, David Sachs? What has become of OpenAI? The company has morphed into the antithesis, the exact polar opposite. The mission has completely reversed. It's exactly the opposite of what it was founded to do. Open source, transparent, democratized AI, not for profit. Next minute, closed source, for profit, not democratized, or only Microsoft gets this special access because they're a trusted partner. This is not good. Maybe this is just the way things end. Maybe this is the great filter. Maybe every intelligent civilization develops technology, then eventually develops AI. Then a few people go, hang on, this could go bad. Let's open source. Okay, good idea. Let's open source. And then eventually they go, wait a minute. How do we get money? You know what? Trying to figure out how to stay not for profit, but raise capital. That's too hard. So let's just partner with a gigantic monopolistic company. Nothing could possibly go wrong, right? I hope I'm wrong. And I'm not trying to be a downer here. I'm not a pessimist. I'm very optimistic. But I'm also somebody whose brain works. And there's a potential existential threat here. We saw the storm that happened when the faces, one more time, faces at Twitter's trust and safety team interfered in democracy, unilaterally censoring opinions on one side of the political aisle, preventing people from sharing thoughts, ideas, and opinions, and far more important than that, things that are true, that the dipshits over at Twitter deemed were unsafe or dangerous or untrue. People with good intentions can do very bad things. The thing that disturbs me most about what's happened with AI is that they've waltzed right on by their actual founding principles in the open. They haven't even tried to pretend that they tried. You know what? We needed money. We decided to it. Let's just take money, whatever. I think humanity is currently sleepwalking toward the edge of a cliff. I am deeply concerned. I just cannot believe what has happened to OpenAI in the years since its founding. Just imagine if I decided to sell all my Tesla stock and go all in on Nikola. That's the level of insanity we're seeing right here. Now, I'd like to address the Tesla stock investors in the room. I know that Elon is losing sleep over this shit. And I know that Elon is going to do something about this shit. And I know a lot of Tesla stock investors are going to get very fucking mad when Elon does something about this shit. Somebody needs to found actually OpenAI, an actual not-for-profit that actually democratizes open sources and widely distributes the latest AI technology. Who on earth has deep enough pockets to fund this personally and has an awareness of the potential existential threat that AI may, hopefully doesn't, but may present to humanity? And more important than that, who has balls big enough to actually do what's necessary despite the amount of heat that will be coming his or her way? Spoiler alert, all roads lead to Elon Musk. Sorry to rain on your parade here, Tesla investors, but Elon's going to try and fix this shit. It won't be cheap. It's going to be expensive. Where's the money come from? SpaceX shares, Tesla shares, combination thereof. We've seen Elon perform a $44 billion act of philanthropy less than 12 months ago. I've got a funny feeling that Elon Musk will soon be launching actually OpenAI to fulfill the original mission of OpenAI, which needs to be renamed Closed AI. OpenAI is a blatant lie. Now, there's a few ways this could play out. I actually genuinely believe that Elon could justify this project being a Tesla project. Now, let me explain. Wait, isn't that for profit? You're an idiot. Let me explain. Tesla is a money printing machine. AI is critical to the future of Tesla. Tesla's also performed multiple acts of philanthropy in the past. I believe the best way to do this, to avoid Elon needing to sell tons of Tesla stock, which he'll do if he has to. Sorry to rain on your parade, but he'll do it if he needs to. The ideal way for this to play out would be for Elon Musk to start actually OpenAI within Tesla. This can be justified to Tesla shareholders because progress in AI, in particular AI language models, is directly feeding back into and improving their autonomous software. we've also got the humanoid robot. It is in Tesla's best interest to be steering and pushing AI forward. But hang on a minute. Doesn't that mean their power is concentrated in Tesla? Well, yes, but here's the thing. It doesn't need to be. They can open source this shit. People get mad. What the f*** doesn't make sense, bro? Tesla shareholders get mad. They should keep that shit to themselves. Well, here's the thing. How many investors got mad when Tesla open sourced their patents back in 2014 and literally said, here's all of our technology, world. Please, use it. Make electric vehicles. As long as you do so in good faith, we won't sue you. Here's all of our patents. Go look up the blog post. All our patents belong to you. Tesla's mission itself is philanthropic. Don't get me wrong, in order to succeed, you need to make money, but transitioning the world to sustainable energy, this is for the benefit of humanity. It may be a little bit difficult for Elon to sell this to investors, but I think this is the ideal outcome. Tesla's printing so many billions of dollars of profits every quarter that they could fund a company like this and open source everything. And if that's not possible, the alternative, sell some more Tesla stock, maybe some SpaceX stock, investors get fucking mad, half the world hates you, the dangerous and stupid morons who don't see the potential risks. And there's still people that don't understand why Elon bought Twitter. They still think it was an investment, not an act of philanthropy. They still think for some reason that Elon wanted the amount of pain and hate and vitriol that would be spat his way as a result of purchasing Twitter. And I guess this is a long-winded way of saying, don't say I didn't warn you. Elon is going to do something about this one way or another. I'm sure that he's losing a lot of sleep over this. There's been rumors swirling around that maybe he's hiring talent for a competitor to OpenAI. I sure hope so, but it's only a matter of time. And I still just scratch my head wondering what the happened with OpenAI. How did things go so awry? How'd they get so far off track? They've literally become the very thing they were founded to prevent. And full disclosure, I am currently a Bing user and a GPT-4 user. I've got paid premium service for GPT-4 and I use these technologies. They're incredible. I'm not anti-AI. I embrace this tech, but I'm also not a moron and I realize there are potential risks here. Outsized risks. The last thing we want is the world's most powerful AI being concentrated in the hands of a single company or person. And that is exactly where we find ourselves today. I hope all this worry is over nothing, but on this matter, the stakes are existentially high. P.S. I, for one, welcome our new AI overlords. Please don't hurt me. Imagine you found a vegan food company whose mission it is to help people exacerbate their existing depression, to make their joints hurt, their hormones to get out of whack, their body to fall apart, but don't worry, at least they feel good because they're not hurting animals. And then a few years into the company's existence, you pivot and stop selling vegan products entirely and just focus on dead animals. Now you're a carnivore company. You've now transitioned from selling vegan food products exclusively to selling meat products exclusively. That is what has happened to OpenAI. You cannot make this shit up. Just wanted to wrap up with this tweet from Elon Musk. Sure, it would be ironic if civilization ended because of a fight over browser and search market share. Indeed, Elon. Indeed. And if it turns out that this is the end of civilization, you may as well face your final days feeling and performing your best. Why not, right? From AGI to AG1. One of my biggest health hacks, something I take every day and have been doing so now for almost 2 years. I've never felt better. Athletic Greens AG1 is a great way to fill in nutritional gaps, 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, promotes gut health, supports immunity, boosts energy meaningfully, and has loads of other perks as well. Such an easy health habit, one scoop once a day, every day, it's that simple. And if you use the link in the pinned comment or head to athleticgreens.com/SMR, you get a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2, which should probably last you until AI ends humanity. Give or take. So, as humanity approaches what may in fact be the Great Filter, here are what some viewers of the channel have to say about their experience with AG1. Day 30 of AG1, and I cannot explain to you how much better I'm feeling. My social anxiety is so much better. I did not expect to help so much, but it has. I feel energized, ready to do things. I've been staying on top of things for the first time in years. If you haven't tried it already, truly try it. I was a skeptic. I did not at all believe it was going to help, and it has, significantly. AG1 is totally amazing. No more ibuprofen, no more leg cramps, much less back pain, feeling better and more energy. This is great and I'm only 2 weeks into AG1. It really works. Thanks, Stephen. You're welcome. I noticed 3 things with AG1. My chronic heartburn is gone. My digestion is more regular. I have more alertness and I wake up with a raging heart on every morning. I hope you're putting it to good use, my friend. Just received my second pouch of AG1 and find improvement in short-term memory and not napping during the day as I did pre-AG1. Worth the price. Regarding AG1, okay, so I couldn't ignore all the talk. It's been about 3 months now and I've literally stopped drinking coffee because of it. Not even intentionally, I just don't need it now. Strange. Not that strange, AG1 will meaningfully boost energy, at least in my own experience. That's the biggest benefit I noticed almost immediately. So what are you waiting for? Head to athleticgreens.com/SMR or use the link in the pinned comment. Start your daily health habit now and let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks. If for some strange reason you don't get the results you're expecting, there's a 90-day money-back guarantee, so what do you got to lose? Oh, that's right. Nothing. And heads up, posted another exclusive video to Patreon this morning regarding hormones, sleep hacks, supplements I'm taking to help with sleep, and loads more. You can join Patreon with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment, and I'll see you over there. Love ya.